the last known photograph of a Barbary lion before its supposed extinction, taken in the Atlas Mountains in North Africa in 1925. Once, the roof of an Aloha Airlines first-class cabin tore off at an altitude of 7,800 meters. The pilot managed an emergency landing. 94 of the 95 people on board survived. The body of the flight attendant who was sucked out was never found. 1988. In case of war, evacuate the children, cover the windows, kill the cat. After the declaration of war in September 1939, the British killed over 750,000 pets, fearing there would be nothing to feed them. What X-rays looked like in the 1900s. A basketball match played on unicycles, United States, 1960s. Marie Curie, the first woman to win the Nobel Prize, in her laboratory in Paris, 1912. In 19th century Europe, a wife could be sent to a psychiatric hospital for treatment of hysteria for the following reasons: if a woman argues with her husband and has a different opinion, if a woman reads a lot, if a woman is dissatisfied with her marriage, if a woman refuses her husband, if a woman is deeply interested in science, if a woman doesn't want to have children. Fish sale, halibut catch, Netherlands, 1913. Masonic Lodge meeting, USA, Arizona, 1897. One of the last photos of passengers boarding the American Airlines flight on September 11th, the plane that later crashed into the Pentagon as a result of hijacking. Prostitute Elizabeth Brown received 7 years in prison for strangling a sailor during BDSM play, Scotland, early 20th century. Soviet border guards before execution, Brest, World War II, 1941. According to the 1897 census, only about 25% of the population of Russia had surnames. Also, many people did not know their age. Sea lions are beaten to death with sticks on St. Paul Island, Alaska, 1895. Prosthetic big toe found in the tomb of Tebekatemet, Thebes necropolis. An unemployed man sells ad space on his bald head for a sports magazine, Budapest, Hungary, 1939. An image symbolizing racial segregation faced by Africans. Uzbek schoolgirls during a math lesson, Tashkent, Turkestan, Soviet Republic, 1921. Wounded British soldiers with captured German helmets, France, 1916. Fake heads used during the famous escape from Alcatraz in 1962 were made from wax and left in beds so that the guards wouldn't notice their absence. 3 prisoners escaped the island on a homemade raft. They were never found, and it is believed they likely drowned in the waters of San Francisco Bay. Flamingos wait out Hurricane Andrew in a Miami Zoo restroom, 1992. Leather welder's mask, 1930s. This is a room full of participants in the 1980 Space Invaders World Championship. This is how the weight of people was once determined. In the photo, a woman from the Tarahumara tribe is being weighed, Mexico, 1892. 2 brothers from West Virginia who fought on opposite sides of the American Civil War in 1910. A meeting of the American organization Friends of New Germany, New York, 1934. France, c. 1945. Boys staring through a bakery window at trays of fresh pastries and bread. In 1939, the British police deported Jews who had left Czechoslovakia after its occupation by Nazi Germany. Jews were denied residence in the UK due to incorrect documentation. This photograph, which you see on your screen, later became known as deportation to death and Where did the phrase "no risk, no champagne" come from? In the past, wine had a tendency to explode in France. Going down to the cellar for a bottle of champagne was quite a risk. People would go in special protective suits to guard against flying shards. Sommeliers from that time often lacked fingers or an eye. Rescue of a stuffed toy, a teddy bear after the bombing of Liverpool, UK, 1941. Beer and cigarette. During a break at the Super Bowl final, USA, 1967. Children, prisoners of Auschwitz concentration camp, show their camp numbers tattooed on their arms, Poland, 1945. Burning oil refineries during the Iran-Iraq War, 1980. Franz Reichelt tested his parachute suit by jumping off the Eiffel Tower. It failed. He died instantly on February 4, 1912. Before retreating from Kuwait in 1991, Iraqi troops, on Saddam Hussein's orders, set fire to about 700 oil wells. Toxic smog hung over the Persian Gulf for nearly a year. Oil rains fell on resorts in Turkey and the UAE. 1 billion barrels of oil burned in the Kuwaiti desert. The first same-sex marriage in history. Axel and Eigil Axgill became the first same-sex couple to receive legal recognition and rights. Denmark, 1989. Women at Work, 1915. In Congo, Belgians cut off the hands of children and women as punishment for poorly performed rubber collection work, late 19th century. A lonely driver escapes during the collapse of the Tacoma Bridge, Tacoma, USA, 1940. The pioneer of the automobile radio was Alfred Grebe, who had to install a large antenna shaped like a clothes dryer on the bumpers around 1919. The Hollywood sign was created in 1923, but not as a symbol of the Dream Factory. It was simply advertising for new residential areas in Los Angeles, and the sign was originally longer, Hollywoodland. It was supposed to last about a year and a half, but due to the booming film industry in Hollywood, they decided to keep it. Vibrating bra for breast strengthening, 1971. Many women were convinced of its effectiveness. Love is stronger than all prejudices. Patent sketch of toilet paper created by inventor Seth Wheeler, 1891. A former concentration camp prisoner selects glasses from a pile taken from inmates. 1945, Poland, Nazi concentration camp, Auschwitz. Only 3 people in the USA were qualified to manually pack parachutes for Apollo 15. Their experience was so important that they were not allowed to travel together in one car out of fear that a car accident could jeopardize the entire space program. An attempt to remove a psychiatric clinic patient from a tree, London, 1895. Gerard Omel, Dalsenkiens, Delmchi, Basenki, Daum-Chi, one of the most famous mountaineers who had repeatedly climbed Everest and other great peaks, died after falling from a 2-meter ladder while changing a light bulb at home. Archive photo of the psychopath killer Harvey Glatman, who posed as a photographer. Women would come to him for photo sessions, but instead he would rape them, take a souvenir photograph, and then the women would disappear. 1958. A real woman will always cover you. Italy, 1960. This 1910 service vehicle was a revolutionary breakthrough for U.S. city infrastructure, replacing simple carts and ladders for maintaining streetlights. People skating on frozen Niagara Falls, 1885. Adolf Hitler visits the trenches where he served during World War I as part of the Bavarian 16th Reserve Regiment near Fresnel. The Hitler Regiment held this line for 18 months. In July 1984, 41-year-old James Oliver Huberty told his wife he likely had a mental problem. He tried to make an appointment at a neurotic clinic but received no callback. Later, he told his wife he was going hunting for people, drove to the nearest McDonald's, and began methodically shooting the patrons and employees. In 77 minutes, until he was shot by a sniper, Huberty killed 21 people and wounded 19. Repairing faults on the Graf Zeppelin airship during a flight, 1934. The world's largest monument to Stalin was unveiled in Prague, Poland in 1955. It was nicknamed the Line for Meat by the people. In 1969, a protest against the use of bras was held in San Francisco. A British sailor saws off the shackles of a slave, which the man had worn for 3 years. A black rally in Russia, 1963. In the 20th century in Sweden, young women were forcibly sterilized as part of a program to ensure the purity of the nation. Violations of ethical norms included disobedience, mental disability, low intelligence, and birth from mixed marriages. Korea, 1910, a boy and girl in traditional wedding attire taken during the final year of the Joseon dynasty. God Save America from Communism, Boston, USA, 1950. Chinese justice. A man is publicly flogged for breaking the law, 1900, a glimpse into historic public punishment systems. One of the first home vacuum cleaners, Siemens Elmo, 1906. My mental pain is unbearable. The same unresolved question: if my gun took people's lives, then I am guilty of their deaths. This was written in his last letter before his death by Mikhail Kalashnikov, the creator of the legendary AK-47. Horses used as barricades during the Spanish Civil War, Barcelona, 1936. The last male northern white rhino, guarded by soldiers until his death in Kenya in 2018. The 2 remaining females live under 24-hour protection but cannot reproduce, marking the tragic end of an entire subspecies. Ormer Locklear is considered the founder of wing walking. In 1920, he died in a plane crash while filming his movie. Feminist Elin Wagner stands beside 350,000 signatures demanding women's right to vote. Sweden, 1914. Jane Mansfield poses with the winner of the Miss Hollywood contest, 1957. Hoofprint boots used during the Prohibition era in the United States. Alcohol vendors wore this type of footwear so they couldn't be tracked by regular shoe prints. A mannequin of an African American before a school protesting the integration of black people, Texas, 1956. Passers-by gather to watch Debuan Binaries. Hero Audie Murphy visit a barber, Texas, 1946. Native chief discussing Garrison Dam construction with officers, North Dakota, 1946. The first border post set up after the U.S. war with Mexico, 1848. Mexicans would often scratch insulting words on it about the occupiers, which led to this symbolic sign being surrounded by an iron fence. After losing 13,000 soldiers in the war with Mexico, the USA gained territory equal in size to all of Central and Western Europe. The armored Mercedes-Benz of the president of Ingushetia after an assassination attempt by the Russians, 2005. France's last duel occurred in 1967 between a deputy and a mayor after the deputy insulted the mayor in parliament, calling him an idiot. The arrangement of a gypsy baron's grave photo from the 2000s. Testing of an atomic bomb visible from Las Vegas, 1950s. Lion tamer and trainer Jack Bonavita with wild cats died in 1917 after a polar bear attack. Weighing the Soul, USA, 1907. American biologist and physician Duncan McDougall proved the existence of the soul by weighing a person before and after death. It turned out that the soul weighs 21 grams. The new all-drive three-wheeled bicycle, tricycle, 1882. In the past, smallpox marks on the face were considered an advantage when applying for a job. They indicated that the person had already recovered from the disease and would not infect their employer. The funeral of Emmett Till, who was lynched after a false accusation by a white woman. His mother held an open casket funeral to show the entire world what American racism was like. Gangster Sylvan Skolnick is wheeled into the courthouse on a park bench loaded onto a mail cart, Philadelphia, USA, 1966. A brutal experiment in the U.S. lasting from the 1930s to the 1970s. Over 600 African American workers from Alabama were given placebos and arsenic, despite a known remedy for syphilis. The purpose of the experiment was to observe how African Americans die from syphilis. During Prohibition, the Chicago police dumped tons of corn whiskey after raiding an illegal distillery. May Capone, wife of the famous gangster Al Capone, wraps herself in furs trying to hide from press cameras while visiting her husband at Alcatraz Prison, 1929. A wedding in a church destroyed by German shells, London, 1941. A failed assassination attempt on Hitler occurred in 1944 during a flight from Prussia to Berlin. He was given explosives disguised as cognac, but they did not detonate and the plane landed safely. Zolas and their car, South Africa, 1903. After the death of Abraham Lincoln, he was reburied 17 times due to repairs and security threats, with the coffin being opened 6 times. He finally found peace only in 1901. The trenches of World War I after 100 years. Dar Robinson jumps from a 7-story building to demonstrate a new rescue device, an inflatable bag designed to save people from fires, 1974. Loading the first hard drive onto a Pan American plane, 1965. It weighed about 2,000 pounds and held only 5 MB. Today's phone replaces thousands of those drives. Even in the distant 19th century, cats were memes. As punishment, a French woman who had a relationship with a German is shaved bald, 1945. Members of the New York Fat Man's Club, 1904. People used to be infected with malaria to treat syphilis. The high temperature caused by malaria would destroy the syphilis bacteria, and then patients were cured of malaria. License to practice prostitution, Great Britain, 1876. If this video brought a smile or maybe even some anger, share your opinion in the comments. Stay locked in for the upcoming part. Remember to smash that like button and subscribe for more. Goodbye.